A single trembling line could turn an entire temple away from the stars. And if the star passed before the instrument was steady, the measurement would be lost. Under the stars, these workers were asked to turn the sky into a line on the earth.
Wrong.
That night, they were not only measuring the stars, they were measuring the fate of everyone below them. That night, they were not only measuring the stars, they were measuring the fate of everyone below them. Egypt lived because of the Nile, but its power looked upward, toward the stars. Temples were not placed by chance. Their stones followed lines that priests believed were written into the sky. Before a star could guide a temple, human hands had to prepare the ground. Menka was not born inside a temple, but long ago, his father taught him that the stars never lied.
Stars do not lie.
Even among those forced to carry and pull, knowledge survived in memory, in practice, and in the eye. Nebet knew that a crooked tool could create a crooked truth. Inside the temple, time was not only counted by days, it was counted by the movement of stars. Every line drawn on the ground had to serve the throne as much as the heavens. The old instruments had failed. Before night returned, they would have to be remade. A merket was simple, a sighting bar, a plumb line, and gravity. But simplicity did not forgive carelessness. The bay did not measure by itself. It held the star in sight, and if its notch was wrong, the sky would appear wrong. Without a true axis, there is no true temple. For Menka, this was no longer only a command from the temple. It was a test of everything his father had taught him.
Then let our hands make it straight.
The sky would be measured at night, but the battle for accuracy began here, in wood, cord, metal, and dust. A merket and a bay were not complex machines. Their power came from one demand. Every part had to be true. Before they could measure the heavens, they had to defeat the smallest curve on Earth. One shaving at a time, Nebet turned rough timber into a line the stars could answer. A curve too small for a careless eye could become a mistake large enough to bend a temple's axis.
The opening was tiny, but if it sat off-center, the plumb line would pull the stars into error.
Even the cord had to be judged. If it twisted unevenly, the weight below it would never hang true. The weight did not need to be beautiful. It needed to be balanced, heavy, and honest. The plumb weight would not measure the stars. It would measure whether the world below them was truly vertical. The bay had only one task: hold a star inside a narrow notch until the right moment arrived.
Each mark gave the eye a place to return to when darkness erased everything else.
When the weight stopped moving, gravity gave them a line no ruler could fake. Tonight, it must find the north. A true instrument was only the beginning. Now they needed a steady hand, a clear sky, and the patience to wait for a star. Before night could reveal the stars, the ground had to be prepared like a silent map. To find the meridian, they first needed a line that would not wander. The plumb line gave them the vertical truth. Everything else had to be built around it. The Merkit did not argue, did not guess, and did not flatter power. When the weight stood still, it showed only what was true.
Hold it as if you are holding your breath.
Every point on the stone became a promise that the night would later test. This was geometry without parchment, written directly onto the earth. The star was chosen before darkness. Its passage would tell them when the line below was true. As daylight disappeared, the temple forecourt became an instrument, waiting for the sky. When the sun vanished, the Merkit began its work. One person held the instrument, one held the star, and one waited for the sky to cross the line. The star did not stop for them. They had only a moment to catch its passage. Nebet had to hold the sky still, with nothing but wood, muscle, and will.
A movement smaller than a fingertip could become a mistake written across stone. Not yet. Not yet.
For one breath, the star, the notch, and the line became one.
Mark it.
The sky had arrived, but the earth below moved.
No! It shifted!
The heavens had not failed them. The instrument had moved, and the moment was gone. Morning revealed what the night had hidden. The line was wrong. At sunrise, the throne came to see what the stars had refused to confirm.
Stone can be corrected. Honor cannot.
We must correct the instrument and measure again under a steadier sky. The star was not wrong. The cord was.
The mistake was not in the heavens. It was hidden in a cord no thicker than a reed stem.
And the notch did not hold the star evenly. One more night.
Accuracy began again with the smallest material. A cord made straight before it could be trusted. A crooked weight would pull truth away from the center. They corrected it until gravity had no reason to lie. This time, Menka did not hurry. He waited until the instrument stopped speaking in motion. Nebet widened the notch just enough to hold the star, but not enough to lose the line. For the first time, the priest watched knowledge rise from hands he had once ignored. Now the tool no longer fought his eye. Wood, cord, metal, and memory had begun to agree.
When the line stands still, the earth is telling the truth.
Menka returned from memory with one lesson. Do not command the line. Wait for it. Then, between the fading dust and the coming night, the sky offered them one quiet chance. On the second night, every flame was guarded, every rope held still, and every breath was measured.
Hold the star inside the notch.
This time, the notch held the star exactly where the eye needed it.
The Merket held the vertical truth. The bay held the star. Now the moment belonged to patience.
Wait.
He did not force the sky to answer. He waited until everything became still enough to hear it.
Now.
This time, the mark did not drift away from the truth. When repeated observations met on the stone, the hidden meridian finally appeared. The priest had guarded the knowledge of the temple, but the line before him had been saved by the hands of workers.
It is straight.
A line drawn by workers had become a path for the throne, the temple, and the stars.
The axis was approved. The names of those who saved it would not be written beside the royal seal.
By dawn, the line remained. What had been found in the stars now belonged to the earth. The stars had given them a direction. Now stone would remember it. Two simple tools, a hanging line, a sighting notch, and a sky patient enough to be measured. Their names might never be carved into the temple walls, but the line they saved would guide every stone that followed. Before humanity looked deep into the universe, these ancient eyes learned to stand beneath it, wait for a star, and draw truth upon the earth.